Today, I'm going to imagine how it could have been instead of how it actually is. Like my life, like how things could have been. And you know, uh, after I graduated high school, my life kind of fell apart, like soon after. And, it hasn't been the same ever since. I've kind of just been in this hole and I just, I don't know, I'm just in it, just stayed in it, really. Didn't really do anything about it. Anyways, I have to recap it for you guys. So, right around like graduation, which is like around the summer, when I graduated grade 12, I started smoking weed, and it was fun at first, and I had some good memories, but then my mental state, or whatever, my mental health just got worse and worse and worse. And then things started happening. Bad things started to happen. And bad things happened. Bad things happened to me. Bad things, I've probably done some bad things too. But, just bad things happening. Whether it's me, like, whether I'm the cause or someone else or something's the cause. And worst comes to worst, my life is ruined. Family violence, like stuff with my brother, shit happened, and there I am. Charges pressed against me, and yeah, the charges are not there anymore, obviously, but I was on probation for like a year, and this is kind of like what started it all. Like what started, like what kind of like just everything that's followed has just been fucking shit. Like, I was homeless, because no one wanted to have me, live with them. I was homeless, um, you know, did some hard drugs, and what else was there? Whatever there was, and some shit at work, and you know, it's hard to talk about, but what I mean is my life has basically never recovered ever since that first event. And things just got worse after there. Thankfully, the past 2 years, I've been at the very least safe, but it could be better. I feel like my life is ruined, and I guess that's just how I feel. But I wanted to imagine like how things could have gone instead of whatever happened, like me doing drugs, me fucking doing whatever. Because like, okay, when I first started smoking weed, like soon, not soon after, like probably like, I don't know, 2 3 months, I quit my job and started smoking weed full time, and that was a big mistake, because like if all you do is smoke weed, your mental health is going to like decay rapidly. Like your mental health is gonna go to shit, and when your mental health goes to shit, bad things start happening. Whether it's your fault or not, bad things start happening. And I think, I guess I could have just, I laid down the weed. Like, I'm not gonna say, oh, completely avoid weed, but what I mean is, what if I, just had it for like a one-time experience, smoked it for like a month or so, and then never again. Didn't really, make it like, daily I was getting high. Instead of making it like that, it was just like every once in a while. But instead of that, I was getting high daily. And that's kind of a recipe for disaster, I won't lie. Because like, obviously, your mental health goes to shit. You get pissed off easier, you get paranoid easier, but you also get like happy easier, or turned. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword. So not using weed could have prevented like 90% of what happened after I graduated high school. No family violence, no charges, no police, no popo, no whatever it is. Honestly, a lot of that could have been prevented. And I would still have a job, because shit happened at my job. You know, I was emotional about it. At work, I was emotional about it. I wasn't pissed, but let's just say I was sobbing. I was sobbing. Everyone heard it. Everyone was aware of it. Very embarrassing. I don't like looking back on that, but I had a job at least, and you know, I feel like I could have handled it better if I wasn't smoking weed. You know, I'd be less emotional. But honestly, I probably would have quit that job anyways, because I worked at McDonald's. So working at McDonald's, it was great until everyone started to leave, and you know, then there's like literally no one I'm friends with working there anymore. So then it's kind of like a regular job, and regular jobs suck. But also, like, this manager started getting on my ass, and man, she's a bitch. I won't lie, and she's kind of the whole reason why I quit and cried and all that. So I feel like that would have happened anyways, whether I smoked weed or not. Well, maybe not the crying part, but I still would have left McDonald's because of that manager. So before putting in my 2 weeks, because like in Canada, I don't know if they do this in America, but it's nicer to hand in your 2 weeks notice of quitting to like your manager or whatever before you quit, and then you have your final day, this and that. But most of the time they're like, oh, do you want someone to take your shifts, your remaining shifts? I said, nah, I'll do it anyways. And I continued working there for 2 weeks. But yeah, that's basically what you do if you want to like stay on good terms or be polite. But I feel like before handing in my 2 weeks, I could have got another job. I'm not sure where, but some other job, probably minimum wage. And then I would have been good for a few months. But then my house was getting destroyed. My house I lived in, I probably lived there for like how many years? I think like 5 years, and eventually it had to be destroyed. It was a super old house. The like the property, like the land got bought for like $1 million, so they destroyed the house, and nothing has happened to since. Like it's just kind of like a hole in the ground now. There's no buildings there or anything like that, even though there was a giant sign out front of our house before it got destroyed saying what it's gonna be. But yeah, my house was getting destroyed, so that's a problem. Well, my mom didn't like look into properties or buying any, no, getting us into a new house. She just decided to like kind of leave it. But I wasn't living with her at the time. But she started living with my aunt, and I started living there too in the current timeline. Okay, I'm talking about the alternate timeline right now, but in the current timeline, I did start living with that aunt. But the thing is, they didn't necessarily kick me out, but they didn't want me there anymore because I didn't have a job, because I was kind of burnt out, you know, after everything that's happened in the actual timeline. After everything horrible that's happened, I kind of was just sick of living, and I didn't want to work anymore. And that's probably just an excuse, but yeah, they didn't want me there because I didn't have a job, even though I was paying rent because I'm on disability. I was able to pay rent and this and that, so I moved to the trap house. Well, not the trap house, but I moved to my friend's house, and that's where we did hard drugs. And then that's when we did hard drugs, and then I thought he was gonna kill me, even though nothing happened. So I left, and I went homeless for I don't know, a month or two, and then in the actual timeline, and then I started living with my other aunt. She's not really my aunt, but I call her my aunt, and I started living with her, and things have gone up since there, like way up since then. That's when my life kind of returned to normal after all the horrible stuff that happened. And so I would have ended up at my first aunt's house anyways, but I wasn't able to, like, it wasn't sustainable. Is that the right word? I wasn't able to stay there for long because I didn't have a job. I really didn't want to work. But if, you know, if the alternate timeline was reality, none of those horrible things that happened to me would have happened. so I wouldn't be like, you know, kind of have this outlook on life where I don't really want to do anything. So I'd probably be working. I probably already have a job. No, actually, since it's on another part of town, so I'd have to get a new job. But what's near there? Well, there's a Shoppers and Save On nearby, so I guess I could have worked there. So, uh, I guess like yeah, I would have had to get a new job, and I'd be working there maybe like I don't know, 2 days a week. I know that's not a lot, but with disability, there's only a certain amount of hours or a certain amount you're allowed to make a year, and if you make more than what they if you make more than the limit, then they're gonna start taking away your disability. Like they're gonna take some money out of it or whatever. So it's kind of like pointless to work for work, you know, that much. So if I just like kind of like if life kind of just like went by normally, I'd be working like a minimum wage job, living with my aunt, and things that would I don't know things that would sorry, I can't speak English. Things would have been going well, and I think this alternate timeline, like where we're at in the alternate timeline, prevents a whole bunch of things. It prevents me moving in with my friends, doing hard drugs, going homeless, and who knows? Who knows? I probably would have stayed with my aunt living there for a while, because my mom, who was living there, stayed there quite a while. But I actually loved it there. It's a very nice house. It's very peaceful. There's a nice backyard. There's, you know, cats, dogs, whatever. There's my cat, actually. The cat that was mine. Well, we called it my cat, but it was the cat that was at my old house that got destroyed, living with us for years. That cat is like, how old now? Like, how long ago was 2019? 7 years ago. So that cat's 7 years old and was born in our house. And that cat is living with aunt number one, my real aunt. So I would have had, you know, my favorite cat in the world. I would have stayed there for a bit. And then, I don't know. I think that's kind of where the timeline kind of ends. I think, I don't know if I was planning on getting education, but the thing is, I'd have to take English 12 again, which is a high school course. English 12, high school, grade 12. I would have had to take that again to take any of the classes I want to take, because they require like a C plus in English 12. I only had a C. So honestly, I really don't want to go through that class again. I hated that class. It was a very shitty class. So honestly, actually, if those terrible things didn't happen, I probably would be working with my uncle, who's my aunt's husband, you know, obviously. But when I worked with him in the canon timeline. So in the Big Soprano canon timeline, I did work with him, but then I just got sick of it and I didn't like working there, so I quit. So honestly, that probably would have happened in the alternate timeline too, because honestly that job sucked. I just pressed on a pedal all day for 8 hours a day, every day of the week, and you know, I was making like, I don't know, something, maybe like $20 an hour. But honestly, that job sucked. And all my coworkers, you know, McDonald's was fun because of the coworkers. All my coworkers didn't even speak English at that job. So it honestly kind of sucked, that job. And I didn't like it at all. So I probably would have quit that job anyways. I would have tried that job, quit it. But after that, in the alternate timeline, now we're in the alternate timeline. After that happened, I probably would have got like a nearby job, and things would be, you know, things would be good. And then eventually I'll move out on my own, and I can't in the alternate time, no, in the canon timeline, I didn't move out until last year. And where we're at in the alternate timeline, that's 2023, so that's like 3 years ago now. So it took me like 2 years to move out on my own to be confident enough. But in the alternate timeline, I probably would have moved out sooner. So yeah, that's my fan fiction of my life. I feel like, I don't even know if this is like a healthy exercise or anything, but that's kind of like what my life would be if I was writing it. If my life was a fan fiction, it'd go like this. But sadly, you know, things happened. Sadly, life happened. I happened. I was born. I made some mistakes, and some mistakes happened to me, and I learned, and now I'm kind of just in this hole where I have no job, just living on disability, no education, no hoes, no bitches. I don't go outside. If that certain period, like if the period after I graduated high school went perfectly, it would go like this. Honestly, now I gotta start planning my future. Maybe it'll be as good as the alternate reality, the alternate timeline. So who's hyped for the next Big Soprano timeline? I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys have a Big Soprano day.